Hello StarCraft fans, this is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another weekly edition of Midrank Madness. This is a game between Zan and Chinese characters on Frozen Temple. In the top left side of the map, we have the red Zerg player, it is Zan. And in the bottom right side of the map, we have the blue Protoss player, it is Chinese characters. I'm pretty sure that's Chinese. Part of it looks kind of Korean to me, but it's too short to really tell, so if I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments. If there are any discussions in different languages, perhaps we can get a translation for those as well. Yeah, my interface just considers that question mark, so has no idea either. Alright, so a ZVP here on Frozen Temple, and no, this isn't the latest version of the map. What on earth? So these rocks should actually be over here. Originally, these rocks existed to prevent the Protoss from 3 pylon blocking the bottom of this ramp against Zerg and keeping them on one base. It was so frustrating as Zerg, they finally just got rid of it by throwing these unbuildable rocks down where you can't put a pylon on it. But what it does in this location is prevent Protoss and Terran from walling off without killing those rocks first. So they're going to be super annoyed by that. And I actually did retweet something that said it was fixed today, but maybe not at this point. Either way, it's going to be difficult for our friend here, Chinese characters, to wall off. Although it's a double gateway opening and a gas steal from Zan. What? Gas steal here. Meanwhile, Zan went for a spawning pool first. Okay, with a lot of money in the bank. Spawning pool into a hat. Please tell me this is a hatchery. And it is a hatchery. Okay, so this is a very unorthodox build here. Supply blocked is Zan. Not actually... Oh, going for a queen. Nope, not supply blocked quite yet. Just kidding. Was just actually oversaturated on workers. So getting a queen, not getting any lings whatsoever without pool first, and just stealing the gas. So Chinese characters as well went for a double gate opening, is not getting any units out of these double gates. Is now throwing down a Nexus behind it. This is a weird game. This is really strange. I'm very interested to see what these players decide to do from this point on, because I have no idea. Getting workers on the gas quickly, that's good. This did show as a diamond level game, but I guess not all diamond games are created equal, because either these players are playing super unorthodoxly on purpose, or they just aren't as good as I expected them to be. So double adept opening here. Okay. Alright, not too crazy. Chrono boosting the warp gate research, not chrono boosting out the adepts. Again, pretty darn weird. Overlord going to scout this in. Going to see exactly what is up with that Nexus. And Zan is kind of settling into more of a comfortable routine here. Once again, getting that early pool, I'm not sure what that was all about. Zan changed his idea. Okay, he had an idea, decided to not go with it. Actually, stealing this gas is moderately brilliant. Because I think, I don't know, I guess maybe Chinese doesn't need it. I don't know. I don't know if stealing this gas was a good idea or not. But basically, Protoss is on 1 gas, and I think they do prefer to be on 2 at this point. So we'll see if Chinese characters actually decides to come kill it. In the meantime, he's sending adepts up. And the adepts do not like what they see for some reason, but there's nothing here. There's absolutely nothing here for Zan. I think the adepts could just pretty much wreck house, and Zan could do nothing about it. These drones would die. Yes, the queen can hit them. Look, the queen can stab them, but it doesn't take their HP down quite quick enough to save these workers. As you can see, 1 worker down, 2 workers down, 3 workers down, 4 workers down. Yeah, 1 adept might possibly die. Nope, psionic transfer heading on up. Can they get there before this adept dies? And they decide to actually abandon the originals, go for those. Psionic transfers surrounded by drones. This one is going to die. Drone takes it out. Winner drone there. Good positioning by the adept. Trying to take down as many workers as they can. The queens manage to get up here somehow. They're not on attack move. What is happening? I don't know. The adept is up to 7 total kills and gets 8 before she is sniped down. Woo! Woohoo! Units lost 8 drones for 2 adepts. Like I said, if all you have is queens when those adepts show up, you're going to have a bad time. You need either speedlings or roaches. I prefer speedlings just because they're easier to get and cheaper than roaches, and they hit harder. But you know, if you want to go for roaches too, that's fine. Hydralisk Den and a spine crawler. A quick Hydralisk Den here for Zan. So basically a Hydra rush against adepts. Adepts who, by the way, do extra damage versus light. 22 damage versus light here. So I'm not entirely sure if this is going to be good at all for Zan. Adepts once again rocking on in. Goodbye drones. So many dead workers. So many dead workers, ladies and gentlemen. Just absolutely drone massacre here. The adept play is not being stopped. The adepts are actually choosing to try to kill a queen, which seems like a poor life choice, as look, the queen does not die, and an adept does die. Boop, sniped right on down there. There's also a stalker chasing that overseer away. A full drone pull. They do scout the Hydralisk Den. Nice scout by the Adepts. I think that was by accident, or perhaps on purpose. The Adepts, again, trying to get back up into the main base to find more things to murder. There's a single drone here, but no mining going on whatsoever at this point. Can the Adepts take down a queen before her friends show up to do the transfuse? Going to be very close. Pulls back for safety. There's the clutch transfuse. Gets it. And the Adepts, again, taking shots, but 15 drones have been killed so far. The mass Adept play really paying off right now for Chinese characters. Robotics facility now coming up in response to the Hydralisk den that was seen. Adepts, first Hydras pop on out here. Once again, Hydra is not that great in surviving against Adepts, but do hit pretty hard, which is nice. More dead workers. More dead workers. 18 dead drones on this Adept play. I really feel like Zan is in a rough spot right here. Adept waiting for the drones to come back, and they don't. Obviously, they don't. The Queens do manage to kill the last vestige of the Adept Empire. Ba-boom. Thank you for playing, Adepts, but it was not your lucky day. Mass injects all over this lair. Bam, 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 bam. So many injects. Again, I wish they would show me how many are queued up, because that would be nice, but they don't. And this base is finally getting back to work. It looks like it is. Some drones transferring back to the main. Finally, this extractor being taken down by our Protoss friend. And pylon here. Both players focusing a lot on macro. Not a lot of teching or macro is happening there. Protoss is floating a lot of minerals. Doesn't have much gas. Again, I just feel like that traces back to the fact they didn't have their second gas in their main base for such a long time. No, it's a lurker. Is this a Hydra lurker rush? Oh my goodness, with a Nydus worm. All right, ladies and gents, we have a Nydus worm. I might actually said that in the description, but hey, spoiler alert, Nydus worm. All right, so this Overlord is going to actually scout out a place the Nydus worm can be tossed down. We're going to have lurkers. We're going to have Hydras. This does not look good at all. Not a tiny bit for our Protoss player. Can he hold off with lurkers inside his main base? Because it looks like that's what is going to happen. It is absolutely going to happen. Stargate has made anything at all? Nope, there's a Stargate. Not been used for anything. Colossus on the way. Haven't seen Colossus for a while. Have not seen Colossus. Nydus worm popping on in. So it's going to be a Queen Lurker Hydra Nydus push as a third base comes up for Chinese characters. Warp Gate being popped on to that gateway, turning it into a Warp Gate. Immortals, that's a great choice. Having Immortals against Lurkers, very good too. That's the thing. Does Chinese expect Hydras or Lurkers? I mean, okay, did see the Lurker Den morphing in, so does definitely know that there are Lurkers coming. Immortals a great choice in that situation. What is popping into the Nydus network? A Lurker. That's good. That's good to have a Lurker, I suppose. Some more Queens. Again, I feel like the Queens almost have to go with just for air defense because there's going to be air stuff, maybe? I mean, as far as Zan knows, there is, but maybe not. Finally getting rid of those unbuildable plates. So darn annoying. Does manage to wall off anyway, though. Pretty darn good, but it does leave that front ramp exposed. So a link run by could have really ruined the day. Here comes the Nydus network. It is actually spotted here. If Chinese characters is paying attention, it is within the sight range of that assimilator. A big warping of zealots. Nice response. Great response here. Any observers, though, is the question. I don't know. Unloading. The lurkers need to burrow now. They need to burrow now, and they do. They burrow, and they chase everybody away. Alrighty then. So now we're in business. Trying to snipe down that Nydus worm. They do. They end up getting it here. Just pushing right on in. They want to kill these queens. They don't care about the spines. Maybe splash damage will get rid of some of these lurkers. And it does do some damage to them, but man, lurker spines on top of all of these stalkers who are armored, on top of the Colossus, which is armored. Not a good feeling. A lot of these guys down to very, very low health indeed. Killing a bunch of probes here. That assimilator is going to die. Another Nydus worm coming up here. Is there an observer at all? There's not an observer. Don't run into this. Chinese characters, what are you doing? Stab, stabbity, stab, stab, stab. That's what's happening. You're getting stabbed. Oh, observer does show up just in time to kill those lurkers, and the Nydus worm explodes before it can unload a single solitary thing. Whew. Okay. Okay, Chinese characters has stabilized. It is now 71 to 105. Total supply, worker count 41 to 41. Pretty darn even on that. But 3 bases to 2 bases right now for our Protoss friend. That's going to come in much handy later on. More Colossus on the way. Hydras continuing to be produced here by Zan. Just not looking good. Not looking super fantastically well for the Zerg player right now. Protoss player did manage to hold that off as previously mentioned. It's going for a very Heart of the Swarm, even a Wings of Liberty type build here with Stalker, Immortal, Colossus, Zealot. Is it going to work? We'll have to wait and see. Another Nydus trying to pop on up, probably trying to get rid of that robotics facility. Is it spotted? It is spotted by Chinese characters. Moves his whole army down once again to deal with this thing. Has to kind of walk through the probes. Excuse me, pardon me. I'm come to save your life. And can it get there? Oh, Colossus pops out, gets some shots off immediately. Lurker pops out and runs. It's so darn money intensive to make a Nydus worm. Where is it? So this sucker costs 200, I believe. Did I just went back a tiny bit. Okay, I'm all right. What the? Hotkeys don't work. That's what it is. All right, so we're going to check this one. It is 150, 200, so 200 gas there. And then to plop down another one is 100, 100 every single time you want to do it. So this is not gas cheap at all for the Zerg player. There's a third base coming up, which is great. Really weird place for a third. This probably seems like a better location, but whatever. At this point, I'm just expecting the Protoss player to just kind of steamroll everything that Zan is doing, because Colossus are a great choice against both Lurkers, especially if they have extended Thermal Lance. If they have, against the Lurkers, Immortals too, very, very good against those Lurkers. Stalkers, pretty darn good too. Just great composition right now from the Protoss player. Overseer heading on down to check out what is going on, making sure everybody is safe and happy, and long distance mining at this weird located third base. A fourth base on the way for Chinese characters, who is following a more standard expansion procedure. I don't see any more Nydus worms in the future, and as I say that, another one pops up. I think the Immortals saw that too, though, almost immediately. Two Immortals come right on in. They should be able to snipe down that Nydus worm all by their lonesome, but the whole army comes back too. So the good thing about this from Zan is that it's keeping the army inside the base for Chinese characters. Another Nydus worm tries to pop a Changeling, being dropped too here, and a Zealot is not going to be sniffed out as easily as it usually is. Although it was sniffed out pretty quickly there, just because there are actually Zealots in this composition. Another Nydus worm here. Zan is being insane. Nydus worm dies. This Nydus worm, cliff walk. Colossus ready to go. You can't cancel it either as Zerg, so that thing has to finish. It will die immediately. Zan knows this. There's nothing he can do about it. Another one here. Zan's trying to do this thing. He's down 130 to 165 at total supply. Worker count, he's up by 2. He does have that third base up and running, but a fourth base is here for the Protoss. Lurkers trying to pop out. Bunch of Lurkers popping out here, trying to land and trying to stab through everything before they die. Observers are here. Photon overcharge is here. All these Lurkers are going to absolutely be destroyed, but the question is, what do they take with them? Zealot's a good choice, actually, to get rid of these guys. Some Queens in here as well, trying to transfuse, keep themselves alive. There are Lurkers that are still alive in here somewhere. Maybe not. Maybe I was a liar. Nope, there's one. 5 kills on that guy. He is a Slayer, and finally the whole thing gets cleaned up. The Nydus worm burns alive and burns to death, and then burns to ash as this creep slowly recedes off of the snow. And all is quiet once again in the Protoss base. 132 to 115 total supply. The resources lost tab 5,000 and 2,000 for Zan, 6,000 and 1,200 actually for our friend Chinese characters. Strange. 25 workers killed there. That was a lot of dead workers there, actually. Yeah, 25 probes killed. Wow. All right, so it's 65 to 56 harvesters. Zan has actually managed to take the lead in worker count to this point, which I did not expect to see at all. Is he still going with his Hydra Lurker thing? According to the production tab, he definitely is. Is that another Nydus? I heard it. Did I hear it? Was I making stuff up? Did it just die immediately? I might just be hallucinating sounds, which is not a good sign, actually. I don't think that's a good sign. Anyway. Oh, there's another one. Okay, so Zan's not going to give this up. Zan is absolutely going to do Nydus worms until he is completely done with money. And to this point, I just don't exactly see that happening. Is this one in vision? Oh, it is just barely. It's just barely in vision. So there it is. Another one here coming up. The army ready for that one. But this one finally pops up. Lurkers stabbing down here off the high ground, getting rid of some of the probes at that third base. Zealots taking shots too, although they're fast enough to actually dodge most of the spines from the Lurkers. Oh, on the high ground come the Colossus. One Colossus dies. 2 Colossus die. Another Colossus is going to fall here, and it does. Colossus maybe not as good as I thought. They don't have that extended thermal lance, though, which is a bit of an issue, and the Lurkers are going to live. They're not going to be melted at this point. 134 to 131 total supply. The Lurkers taking down a gateway, having this base under complete lockdown. Burrowing in to get rid of more of these production facilities, getting rid of a robotics facility, and just going for it. Just going forward as Chinese characters. He's tired of defending. He's tired of losing mothership cores to queens. He's going to lose his cybernetics core. He realizes there's nothing back home for Zan. So here come the zealots. +1/+1 on those guys. Everybody on the ground is going to have +1/+1. Getting rid of evolution chambers. There are lurkers here too, though. How many? 3 total. Coming all the way back home to try to defend the lurkers burrow once again. Zealots getting stabbed, moving up into the main base. If there are lurkers here, these overlords actually not allowing us to see much of what's going on, but a lot of zealots are dying. I can hear that. All the colossus are gone too. Oh boy, these lurkers still alive to try to take down that cybercore all by their lonesome. And somehow Chinese characters was rebuffed by the lurkers. The lurkers go back into the Nydus worm. They're going to pop back on over here to this base and start killing stuff. Getting rid of gateways, throwing down a spore crawler. The range on these guys is actually kind of insane. A range of 9 on the lurker. Imagine Protoss players not super duper happy about that one. Another base though. Chinese characters has not given up just quite yet. Lurker is going to take down this Nexus. A Void Ray ready to rock though. I like this choice. I like this choice by Chinese. Getting rid of the Overseer. Oh, Queen's popping out though. Never mind. Goodbye, Void Ray. Do not attack into this. And it does not decide to retreat, saving its own life. Excellent, excellent decision as usual with those Queens. Lurkers are going to finally take down this Nexus. Both of them with a +1/+1 upgrade. 33 damage versus armored, and every building in the Protoss arsenal is armored. Which I think every building in the Zerg is as well. So, whatever. Spire now coming up for the Zerg player. Nexus exploding in a giant gout of flame as usual. Gateways. Taking shots. Immortals. Stalkers. Trying to push on in, but the lurker count, actually, the native defensive lurker count, good with Spore Crawler support too. I kind of feel like Chinese might have a better job trying to defend this, but no, just going to straight up lose the main base. Is he ferrying? He's ferrying his whole army up here into the main base. Immortals, Stalkers are here. Zealots not quite involved yet. But look out. Look out, Queens. Look out, drones. All right, going to base race this sucker. There is no real higher tech in the main base, though, which is a problem. A Zealot attack down here. There are no spines at all. The Zealot's going to destroy everything. The hatch does end up falling. All the drones dying too. 4 observers here, which seems like overkill. We have an old-fashioned base race, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of base races on the channel recently. Actually, another base here. Is that one visible to... Nope, that one is not visible to Zan. That's a good one. Barrier coming up on these Immortals. I guess the Broodlings might have triggered that one. And the spawning pool does go down. They're trying to get a kill with the Broodlings. Can they kill anything? And the answer is no. No, they cannot. They did get all the way through the shields of the Immortal, though. That base, again, this second base going down. Stargates, robotics facilities dying. Zealots laying waste to this particular hatchery. And yeah, I don't know who's in the lead right now. 62 to 46 workers. Zan is technically in the lead. There has this base, which is not being mined at all. Trying to come down this ramp. Bad idea! Bad idea, Immortals. Do not come down that ramp. There are a ton of lurkers waiting to destroy you there. So this is the one mining base that Zan has. Meanwhile, there are officially 2 mining bases for Chinese. It is officially 163 to 87 supply, however. So the lurker count is high enough. The queen count, the hydra count, and a bunch of corruptors in production here too for Zan. Transfusing his lurkers. Do not walk down that ramp. Why would you walk down that ramp? He walked down the ramp again. All right, lurker. Spining up from the ground to kill the Twilight Council, and very nicely done there too. Is there a new cybernetics core? No, but it looks like you got a Templar Archives down before. Nope, there's the cyber core. All right, so there is one. Stargates as well. Mass Void Ray might not be bad considering how many lurkers there are. There definitely are queens. There definitely are spore crawlers too. Spreading creep. Here is Zan. He's basically taken over this entire base as his own. This lurker should burrow. Has decided not to. For some reason, Chrono Boost is being used on this forge, which has not been researching anything at all. Another base here for Chinese. And another base. So basically, taking advantage of the fact that lurkers are slow is the ideal here. He does know about this Nexus. He should probably go kill it with these lurkers or these hiders, but I imagine... Let's see if I can actually see what he's looking at. He is looking at stuff down here, so he doesn't actually see that Nexus. He does see that forge. That's kind of fun. I should do that more often. Kind of see what the players are paying attention to. Did finally burrow that lurker. But again, it's 1 mining base to 2. Maybe almost 3 to this point. Another Nexus coming up for Chinese too. Alrighty then. Lurkers stabbing down this one. Void Ray count is increasing. Maybe there's one. There's one. There are 4 in production, though. Wahoo! So Void Ray is using their prismatic alignment ability to do extra damage versus armored, which queens are not. So they can take down the Lurkers quickly. Might not do as well against the queens, but the queens do have the +1/+1 upgrade. So the Hydras do finally walk down here and get rid of this Nexus. Congratulations to you. Well done indeed, Hydralisk friends. And a Void Ray, getting rid of this hatchery that was replanted and will be completely killed. Oh, I forgot about the Corruptors. Never mind. Void Rays seem like a bad idea. There's a lot of Corruptors. Holy shamoly, that's a lot. Void Ray dies in about 1.5 volleys, maybe 2. Can't do much about the Zealots, which is a problem. But he can take down buildings using Caustic Spray. So see if the Corruptors are used. Expanding here is Zan. Still expanded here is the Chinese. 59 to 47 total harvesters there in the top right. Man, I love this interface. Servant Obs has been gone, but it is back now. It is back and I enjoy it. 172 to 110 total supply. Another Nydus worm in production. Where? Why didn't it show me in the mini-map? Oh, there it is. Huh. Usually it's a big old yellow spinning thing, but not this time. So this base in trouble. Caustic Spray being used by these Corruptors. 7 damage per second for 4.3 seconds. Then increases to 35 damage per second. We'll go ahead and snipe this down. No big deal. Bam. And all of these probes are going to die because they're going to run right past these Lurkers. Probes, bad. Bad probes. Do not die. Queens picking up some stragglers. Ooh, that hurts. 56 probes have been killed. 28 drones have been killed to this point. This is finally going to fall. The Lurker snipes it down with 12 kills to his name. I just feel like Lurkers are dudes. More Caustic Spray being used on these gateways. It's kind of nice for Corruptors to have more use than just anti-air. It really is. I mean, Caustic Spray doesn't get used all the time, but when it does, it's pretty good. Void Ray count looking good. Again, extra damage versus armored when that prismatic alignment is turned on, and Corruptors are armored. So extra damage versus Corruptors doesn't hurt at all. So 3 bases here to effectively 3 bases. I mean, that's not mining, which is a problem, whereas all 3 of these bases for Protoss are definitely mining. Not super saturated here at this one in the top right, but whatever. I mean, both players have lost their main bases, and they're both still in pretty good position to win this game. That is how nuts this thing is. I have had a lot of crazy games recently, haven't I? Yes, I have. Falcon Paladin, yes, I have. Reminds me of Archer. Yes, Otherberry. Yes, I have. Carriers on the way. Carriers, not the greatest choice when there are this many Corruptors on the field, but hey, especially if you have +1/+1. Lurkers slowly sieging forward here. If the Corruptors can focus down the carriers and not take on those interceptors, I feel like there's a pretty good chance that things are going to go well for Zan. Spore Crawler trying to get some shots off is getting transfused, and the Corruptors taking on interceptors pretty darn well, which does require replacement interceptors from the Protoss player. That does cost money, so I don't know. Lurkers burrowing in, trying to harass this line once again, killing more probes to their probe death list. Stargates under assault. It doesn't look like Protoss player wants to defend this quite yet. He's waiting on a mothership that is morphing in from a mothership core. Is there an overseer with this army? I don't know that there is. This does not look good at all. He can't move in with ground units at all. There's just too many Lurkers here. That +1/+1 too darn good. There we go. Coming in from the right side. Here come the Voiders. Here come the Archons. Here come the Zealots. Trying to stab what they can, not focusing on anything, actually confusing the AI are the carrier interceptors, but trying to snipe down the Void Rays. Prismatic alignment is actually on here, trying to burn down what they can, but there are too many Corruptors. Too many Queens on the ground, 2 remaining. Corruptor Ball hasn't really lost many of them. Only 2 Corruptors died in that whole engagement. Surprising how resilient they were. This space might just be lost right now. Corruptors, again, trying to move on in, get rid of carriers. There it is. Good focus on the carrier. Getting rid of another carrier. Focusing it down. Good micro once again. And all the carriers just pretty much getting sniped on down while the Voiders are using non-prismatic alignment damage to try to get rid of the Corruptors. And there is the Mothership Core. Oh, but actually there's nothing here to defend it, so it will die almost instantly. Bam. Thank you for coming, Mothership Core, you poor thing. You poor thing. You just wanted to cloak stuff. 148 to 63 total supply. I think Zan might have this thing. I think as unorthodox and weird as this game was, that's it. That's the rage quit. From ? Zan is victorious, and our Protoss friend has left the game. Boy, howdy. Zan hasn't left the game. He wants to keep doing stuff, so we'll go ahead and leave that to him, but we're going to turn off the sound first. Wow, that was weird. That was a crazy game. Whoever sent this to me, I assume it was Zan, was correct in that regard. So again, thanks for sending it to falconpaladin@gmail.com. I'm glad I was able to cast it because what on earth was that thing? Again, neither player has their main. We had Corruptor Lurker. Who says that ever works? And a Carrier, Void Ray, Archon, Zealot. There were Adepts. There were DTs. There were 100 Nydus Worms. That was a good one. That was a good game. I hope you enjoyed it. But regardless, that is it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what it's on, what you heard today. Go ahead and you can catch me on Twitter and Facebook, both at /FalconPaladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.